What is up guys, it's Cal, and in this video we'll be talking about the next content patch that is coming in Battle for Azeroth because it's been announced and pretty much everything coming in it has been announced, at least everything big, and it's called Tides of Vengeance. Now, over the last, at least month, well, Battle for Azeroth has been out for a month now, it seems like we started out, fighting each other, like how this expansion is supposed to go. It is called Battle for Azeroth after all, but then after the raid came out, Uldir, we've been fighting Gahun's forces, we haven't really been fighting each other. It hasn't really been an all-out war like some people assumed this expansion would be, but it seems like it will be much more like that in this patch. So anyways, the things that are coming in this patch is the war campaign is being continued. So there is that. Not too many logistics on that, just we know that it's going to be continued, of course. And then there's going to be something new coming in the patch called Incursions. Now, Incursions are it's new, but it's not really a new system. They're similar to Legion invasions. So the Horde and Alliance forces will invade an area. The world quest will be turned off in the area for some amount of time, and then there will be objectives in that area. And then after you do enough objectives in that area, then you finish a quest and you do some higher objective, like how Legion invasions work. If you finish 4 of the Legion invasion world quests, then you were queued into a 3-person scenario, and then you killed some more demons. That's essentially how Incursions are going to be. And Incursions will be available to alts immediately for level boosting. So Legion invasions were very good for level boosting back in Legion, and it seems like that is going to be carrying over into Incursions. And there's of course going to be new world quests that will be coming, so more content, I guess. There's still nothing new about PvP world quests, which is a bit disappointing. I was hoping at some point they would add at least one PvP world quest for each continent that gave honor, but still no new PvP world quests that we know of as of yet. They might tell us more about it before the patch, but as of right now, nothing new on PvP world quests. And then for some more things based on storylines. So there's going to be advances to Saurfang, Tyranda's, and Vol'jin's storyline in this new patch. Because the last thing that the Horde saw of Saurfang was that he was in the stockades with lost honor. He seemed to be a bit depressed about the whole scenario. Tyranda, her tree burnt down, and as a Night Elf, it's a bit disappointing that we haven't really seen Tyranda at the forefront of anything, because she really hasn't been at the forefront of much since, well, forever. Her tree just got burnt down, and nothing really seems to be happening with her. Well, it seems like there's going to be something, at least, that's going to be happening in this next patch. And then the Horde saw in their storyline what possibly happened to Vol'jin's ashes. Well, Vol'jin's storyline is going to be advanced more in this new patch, so that's pretty exciting. And then for some heritage armor updates. So as before, heritage armor was only accessed by allied races. Once you leveled an allied race to 110, you got an achievement, and then you got a heritage armor that was reminiscent of that race. Well, there's going to be heritage armors for other races now, so not just allied races. They're going to be starting off with dwarves and blood elves. More races are to come. Now, how to get these heritage armor sets is, well, first off, you just need to be exalted with that race, which isn't too difficult. Most people are already, so for dwarves you just have to be exalted with Ironforge, and then blood elves have to be, of course, exalted with Silvermoon City. And then it's assumed that you have to get max level with that race to get the heritage armor set, just because it's that way for the allied races, but that has actually not been officially confirmed. And then on top of that, there will be new quests to get these heritage armors, and this is actually pretty interesting that I'm intrigued in, is that these quest lines will tell more about the race. So for example, the Dead Scar that goes across Eversong Woods for the Blood Elves, well, a lot of people don't know, but that was a result of a Scourge invasion, and that's going to be talked about more in the Blood Elf questline, getting their heritage armor set. So all heritage armor sets for races will talk more about that race's lore, essentially. So moving on from that, there is a new Warfront. It is called the Battle for Darkshore, and it's essentially Night Elves versus Forsaken. That's the whole synopsis of it. There's going to be new structures and upgrades with it, and there's going to be a new max level Darkshore zone updates, like how there was with the Wrathy Highlands. Well, that same thing's going to be with Darkshore. So it will be another scenario, just like Wrathy Highlands, where it will be phased for max level characters, and then you have to talk to, that NPC to phase back to, well, pre-updated Darkshore. And how this is going to go is it's going to be the Alliance going into Darkshore to take it back. So the Alliance is going to start with it, just like Horde started with Arathi, because Darkshore is currently, well, it's currently held by the Horde. So yeah, occupied by the Horde, the Alliance will be infiltrating it to take it back for them. And then for island expeditions, so there's going to be 2 new island expeditions. One's called Yorndal for the Vrykul, and then there's Havenswood, which is Gilnean City. And these island expeditions will have new events to them, new enemies. There's going to be more variety to them. That's something they expressed on, is that they want the island expeditions to have a lot of variety, so every time you go into a new one, it's completely different from the last 5 you did. So with that being said, there's going to be major spawning improvements. Also, something they noticed in the same vein of new improvements is there might be something like Azerite nodes that you can place down, and you will have people defending them, or you will defend them, and they will give you a constant slow trickle of Azerite, and you want to defend them so the opposite faction doesn't take them over. And then what a lot of people probably care about the most is there's going to be a new raid. There's actually going to be 2 new raids. So the first one we're going to talk about is called Siege of Zuldazar, which that name is actually currently a placeholder. It might not be called that, but as of right now it's called Siege of Zuldazar. And this is going to be different than any raid before because the enemy is actually going to be the opposite faction. So there's going to be different faction experiences for Alliance and Horde. So how Alliance are going to go through it is they're going to start at the harbor south of Dazar'alor, and they're going to fight their way up through the pyramid, and there's actually going to be a new area, never before seen area, that they're going to go through inside of the pyramid. And then at the end they'll fight King Rostakan. So that's the Alliance's experience. For the Horde, it's going to begin at the northern part of the pyramid, Dazar'alor, and they're going to be fighting south upwards of the pyramid to Rostakan, but Rostakan is actually the midpoint for them. They're going to be fighting their way through Alliance troops, by the way, because they heard that Alliance troops are invading their pyramid, so the Horde are wanting to, keep it for themselves. Rostakan is a midpoint for them, and then after that little scenario takes place, they'll fight their way back down towards the harbor, where the final boss will be Jaina. So there's that. Now the main raid for each faction has 6 bosses to it, but 3 of those bosses are faction specific. But once you've completed your 6 bosses for the main raid, you can then talk to NPCs to hear the story of the other 3 bosses, allowing you to fight the other 3 bosses. So both raids essentially are a total of 9 total boss encounters. Well, it's one raid, but it's going to be a total of 9 boss encounters that each faction will be able to fight. So once again, the main raid is 6, 3 of which are faction specific, and then once you complete the raid, you'll be able to fight the other 3 bosses, making it a total of 9 bosses. And then after that raid, there's going to be a new raid called Crucible of Storms, and this raid's actually going to come out after Siege of Zuldazar, so it's not going to come out right when the patch does, but some point after Siege of Zuldazar comes out. And as I said, it's called Crucible of Storms. It's a 2 boss raid. Kind of interesting, and it's going to be located under Stormsong Valley. So since it's a 2 boss raid, it seems like a more filler raid, like how Trial of Valor was. Trial of Valor was only 3 bosses. Crucible of Storms seems like it's going to be the same deal. And closer to the raid coming out, there will be some Naga invasions, some new Naga world quests when the raid comes out to kind of fill people in on what's happening, especially Horde characters that didn't quest through Stormsong Valley. It's going to fill them in on the story arc there. And there's going to be some system improvements, like some class updates, new Azerite traits, new profession recipes, so kind of similar, that comes in every single patch. But there's going to be a new Gnomergan pet battle dungeon. For any pet battle enthusiasts out there, there will be a new one, and it will be located in Gnomergan. And they want to do some more like map and reputation improvements that they want to come in this patch. So like, for example, something that they've been talking about for a bit and that has been in the works prior to this patch is that they wanted to make Champions of Azeroth effectively account-wide. So that's what's going to be coming in this content patch. So since it will be account-wide, let's say if you're revered on it and then you log into your alt, you can go ahead and go to Magni on your alt to get those item level upgrades for your Heart of Azeroth. So yeah, another thing dealing with reputations is that they want to get rid of the restriction for transmog items that were restricted based off of different reputations. Like you had to hit a certain reputation level with a certain faction, and then you could get transmog items. They want to remove that and allow them for all of your classes that you have, all of your characters. And then still in the same vein of reputations is that they want to make the number of Exalted Reputations achievements, that one, they want the progress of it to be account-wide, which is interesting. I kind of like it personally. This might not matter to a lot of people because a lot of people have their main character, they get all their reputations with their main character, and then after that they go to their alts and they pretty much get the same Exalted Reputations on their alts, but most people have less exalted reputations on their alts than their main, and the exalted reputations that they do have on their alts, they already have on their main. But some people aren't like that, me included. Like for example, I actually got the Insane in the Membrane achievement on my Death Knight, which is my alt, and for that achievement you have to get exalted with a bunch of miscellaneous vanilla factions, a bunch of which are Steamweedle Cartel and also Ravenhold. I'm not exalted with all the Steamweedle Cartel people or Ravenhold on my Hunter, which is my main, but I am on my alt, so since I am exalted with them on my alt, it is helpful for me, and then other people who are of course in that same situation. And then finally, new allied races. We already know Colteran humans and Zandalari trolls are going to be an allied race, and they're planned to come out after the Siege of Zuldazar raid. So not immediately with the next content patch, but after the raid. And don't worry, when these new allied races come out, you don't have to get exalted with any new reputations. You do, however, still need to get exalted with the Proudmoore Admiralty for Colteran humans, and the Zandalari Empire for the Zandalari trolls. You need to be exalted with them, and then they're unlocked for you. There might be some quest that's added, but the quests are pretty simple. And that's really it for everything new coming in the next content patch, and they're wanting to come out with the PTR of this by the end of the week. So maybe next Tuesday, which is the 25th. This might contain the PTR, which is pretty exciting. I will of course be posting videos on that immediately as soon as it comes out, so you guys should subscribe for more details on that. But yeah, that's the entire video, guys. If you have any other questions or concerns or things you're hoping to see in an upcoming patch, you can leave in the comments below. But if you guys enjoyed this video, you can leave a like on it. You can sub to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video.